So, previously, the group of you have been exploring what you've now come to understand is, at least in part, the remnants of some underground monument or shrine to an ancient deity, uh, the Matron of Ravens. You found her visage, San's face, um, scattered throughout the structure here in the volcanic rock in these jungles on what you suspect is the western edge of the Cloud Spine Mountains. You've been exploring and had snuck in here past a battalion of Goliaths. As opposed to approaching them based on Ten's scouting, you learned they were less than savory individuals. And upon your entering and exploration so far, you've discovered a series of unfortunate demises of slaves that had been sent in by this battalion, effectively to, you suspect, clear out the traps by inadvertently springing them over and over again. This cruelty has left a sour taste in your mouth for continued or initial interaction with this group. You saved an individual whom you believed was one of the slaves, an elven woman by the name of Peg, and she begged you to not send her back out to them, and you acquiesced, and she traipsed around with your group for a while. Eventually, you came to a large, wide area on the decently way in, and came across two old crones of an individual, leaving Peg to reveal herself as the third of this coven of hags. You struck a tentative bargain. The Goliaths are unwelcome in the hag's eye, and they would prefer that you deal with them when you come across them in a manner befitting. In exchange, they will allow you to traipse around their domain relatively unmolested. They're not disabling all of their devices and traps and spells, but they're not going to harry you any more than they already have. You also learned that in exchange, they would allow you to take this stupid thing that the Goliaths were searching for, if nothing better than to have one over on them. And also, upon your egress from here, if you demonstrate to the battalion outside that you have the piece of their quarry, the Goliaths will no longer have any interest in this space, thus absolving the hags of any further incursions in the future. They gave you information that you need 4 artifacts of the Raven Queen to bypass some type of seal or a lock under which this item is kept. You have since then acquired 3 of the 4. There is a mantle of raven feathers with which Hellerast wears, a ring with the sigil of the Matron of Ravens, which Aeolus carries, and a brooch, a necklace, that was most recently acquired after solving the puzzle of 3 stones, which inadvertently just needed to be touched by any type of energy simultaneously. You discovered as you held 3 torches to them simultaneously. That way, however, has been sealed shut, locking you to this northern passage. You did take a brief detour and save a gnome that seemed to have gone quite mad during his time contained here. who in exchange has gifted Siegfried what looks to be a family heirloom, a sort of a gold ring. And he has finally made his escape from the clutches of the hags. You pushed north after picking up this brooch and found a series of rooms and sarcophagi. In a manner not unexpected, upon a little bit too much noise, the wall frescoes cracked, revealing behind them additional tombs, and 3 mummified corpses spilled forth and assailed the group of you. You handily dispatched these individuals, nowhere near quite as dangerous as the one frost giant you found previously. And this is where we are picking up. Move you all to the requisite map. And if you give me a quick moment, I will ping you to the correct location. The time is yours. What would you like to do? Correct. You have literally just left initiative. Well, so there's the 3 frescoes on the wall, which were sort of broken through. It looks like these individuals were sort of entombed in the wall, and then the wall was decorated over top of them. And the frescoes have been destroyed. But then there's the large sarcophagi in the center, which has not been disturbed. Correct, yes. Okay. Make me an athletics check with advantage then. 22. Uh, it's about 30 seconds of sort of hard pushing, like your knuckles are going white, and you don't think it's about to give, and then finally you hear the snap of whatever sort of dust or adhesive or plaster that had sort of helped seal this into place. That weak point gives, and there's this hairline fracture that rips around the lid of it as it finally shifts just slightly. And you are able to. It's then significantly easier once you've broken that seal. You slide the edge off. There's a heavy, cacophonous clattering sound as the lid falls to the side of the sarcophagus and that's now resting upon the side of it, leaning up against. Inside, there's no body. There is 2 chests, one of which looks to be sort of a blackened steel. The other is made out of wood that is still banded together, but mostly wood. Ten. You're muted. Investigation. Pardon me. Oh, nice. 17. Um, then you take a good sort of look in, confirm. It You don't see anything that's immediately trapped. You do notice that the edges of the chests do have a small flare on each of the corners, and they appear to be, it looks like maybe riveted into the base of this sarcophagus with some type of bolt or mechanism. You suspect they will not be able to be lifted out without breaking. These sort of flared flanges, but they're not trapped. Which one do you open? Okay. You open the wooden one. Contained is a set of what appears to be maybe pretty much moth-eaten cloak. It is. There's a smell to it. Make me a history check. Yeah, it doesn't smell good. You're not sure what the smell is particularly. Maybe you haven't had such bad luck in your life to encounter something like this, but it reeks. It absolutely reeks. Um, it looks. It's not destroyed. It's not. It looks like someone decided, hey, I found a bunch of like half-eaten animals in the wild, mostly rodents and things, and I'm going to turn them into a garment. Um, Holding and making sure not to leave out the decay that was already upon their forms. Mm, Make me, I would say, a perception check on this one. Um, be, because you would be specifically looking for anything indicative of that, and you're not sure if there is anything to be found. 24. You do feel quite sure that you are not able to place it. You don't see any inscribed runes or sigils of any type that you would expect to see. Like if it was ceremonial or anything like adorned for that. It could be older. It could be from them. It could be more recent. Um, but it doesn't seem to have any connection to um, any orc tribes of which you know. You've not. Okay. Um, you give it a good sort of shake out, and the whole room is filled with this odor. You're not sure if it's starting to dissipate or not. It's it's a lot. Um, as you sort of shake it out, you see like a few. It looks like feathers sort of scatter loose from it. It looks like maybe some type of avian creature was used in the creation of it as well. Um, it's nothing falls out. Um, Likewise, there is nothing else in the crate. You take a good long look, sort of tap around. Like it doesn't sound like there's a hollow bottom of any sort. Especially after your experience with hollow bottom chests so far. Um, Nothing seems untoward about the chest itself. Yeah, another one. This one is locked, but the lock has been broken. Um, as you sort of jingle it for a moment to lift up the lid, there's a small bit of resistance, and then it just pops out of place. See the lock itself, where it was affixed, it looks like the pins have just sort of worn down over time. Lift the lid up. Inside is a suit of armor that has been carefully nestled into a series of what looks to be semi-soft fabric. No, it is it's definitely metal. This appears to be various plates of armor. It'll take you about 15 minutes to put it on. We'll take off what you have and put on if you want to try. Okay. Corin does dissipate during this time. If anyone else has anything during the time that Dunnan is stripping down and de-stripping. Okay. About 15 minutes later, Dunnan, you are garbed in some pretty nice feeling plate armor. Uh, it's a little bit large for you, um, but doesn't feel quite large enough for like a full sized human or orc. It's maybe made for like a larger dwarf, you would suspect. You sort of go through the motions, roll your shoulders, sort of do some squats. It feels good. Make me a strength saving throw. Ah, you're a little bit shocked, but you're not injured in any way. As middle of your sort of conversation, the rest of you watch as the armor snaps. There's this sound of like metal warping and bending, like when you leave a cooking tray in the oven for too long and then it cools down and it sort of pops back into shape. Um, so that there's this metallic sound that sort of cracks through the area as it all snaps tighter to Dunnan's form, and now it is form fitting. It is. If anyone would like to, you can make an Arcana check to see if you recognize the enchantment. Ooh, Dunnan, you are not trained. Yeah, yeah, all good. Okay. I don't think any of you have identified then. Nope. Okay. No. Oh well. Alright, what will it be at this point then? It's plate armor. I'll adjust it for you. What'd you say? Frescoes, yeah. That's the, well, they were. They're now destroyed. That's the three sort of half holes in the walls that are now like little alcoves where the mummified individuals came out of. Yep. There's not, no. I've added the plate armor to your character sheet. So you should be at 20 with your plate armor and your shield. Yeah. You'll leave it on your sheet for now, done. But all right. So you have a door to the north through which you've not explored. And then due south is locked off to you, but there were other areas in the south that you could explore, notably into the Grove of Mushrooms. Those are effectively the two options you've ascertained. The door opens. um. All right. Contained here are a few long desks and tables, all pretty heavily stained with dark, sort of brownish red stains. First glance, you suspect it's likely blood stains. And there are a series of metallic instruments on all of the exposed parts of the table, sort of resting here and there. Um, Based on the individuals you just fought against, you would suspect that this is an embalming room. Certainly. Um, like looking at all the equipment and whatnot. Perception or investigation, your call. Okay. Perception for you then. Um, Anyways, you sort of make a good once over around the room. There is a barrel that looks like maybe it was once used as a seat, but also a storage, but it has sort of cracked and sort of leaked. What you based on the smell when you open it, some type of fluid is likely used in the processes contained in this room. The only things that you note of value is some of the tools are silvered. They're probably the whole set, as far as scrap goes, probably worth about maybe 10 gold, which would be 100 silver. Um, so you can add that embalming tools 100 silver to your inventory if you choose to take all of the tools. Um, as far as like to whom you could sell the tools to be used as tools, if you could find a buyer, they'd probably be worth more, but you have no idea who would want to purchase these. Oh yes, absolutely. These appear to be well made. Um, okay. 10. While Aeolus is digging around, in empty barrels and bloody tools, you notice a very faint outline where the stone should connect based on the uh, style of the brick patterns on the wall. But there's a very faint sort of thread, this hairline fracture that makes you. It reminds you of the sarcophagus in the room previously, when Dunnan sort of snapped that seal, and you saw this sort of hairline crack run around the edge of it. You notice a similar looking hairline crack along the wall opposite the door you entered. It appears to be a concealed door. Oh. Take a glance around with the perception check. Underneath the desk to your right, there is a sort of a pad on the ground, very cleverly disguised behind one of the legs of the desk, that you would need to sort of put your foot sideways against the wall behind the leg and then press down. Do you press it? All right. As you press it, there is an audible grinding sound, like a massive stone gear sort of shifts as some type of counterweight shifts, and the door opens. Okay, hold on. Need to figure out. Why is my dynamic lighting being dumb? That's why, because there's two pieces of dynamic lighting for no reason. There we go. Haha, now you should be able to see. Are you able to see now? All right, wonderful. As you open, there is a room ahead of you with a series of hooks and chains that have been sort of strung across struts, and rings that have been set into the wall. It looks like someone has taken a dungeon space that would be used to sort of string up prisoners by like chains and shackles through the rings, and instead connected them across the room to make these almost like clotheslines out of chains, put hooks on them, and there are dozens of hanging pieces of meat. Some of the... As you enter the room 10, you are met by an incredible chill. You gather that this meat is relatively fresh. Some of it's even furry. Like it might have. You might be looking at some of these at least as the haunches of gnolls. Okay. You push out very carefully, sort of staying low underneath the meat, and look out into a large chamber. There's a few mushrooms here and there, a very small amount of phosphorescence, and you hear two voices coming from the room ahead of you. sort of discussing something. It's in low tones, a little bit too far away for you to catch directly. Make me a stealth check. There you go. Sort of hop forward slightly as you do, and you're sort of listening. You recognize the voices. It is two of the individuals with whom your group has made this bargain previously. Seems like you've re-entered part of the hag's chambers, although not previously where you encountered them. As you do, that you hear them stop abruptly. Sort of you're gazing out towards them. So one of them sort of turns, and two lamplight yellow eyes sort of focus on you. You don't need to hide there. We already have a deal. You're welcome to come through. No. Maybe. What are you offering? One that the group of you dubbed the Needler. Yes, there's a series of steps down, um, and then from 10 down to the next area, another series of steps down. In grand total, going through this like sort of meat locker space, you descend about 8 feet in elevation. Not significant, but not nothing. Just fix it for you. You should be able to move now. We don't like to name our prices until we hear what you have to offer. I mean, a map of our home, that's not nothing. hear the other one chiming. Yeah. I mean, who knows who we would give it to? Make me a persuasion check. I don't think so, sister. I would have to agree. That's far too little. From 10, they are like 40 feet away from 10. A hook? Okay. Okay. May we examine it so we know what you are offering? Yeah. As you sort of enter this space, you can see that there's a sort of a small decline leading toward the south. So everything you're very faintly on a hill, maybe like 10 degrees. Um, not significant. And lower down there is a large series of mushrooms and bioluminescence. There is this raised sort of plateauish platform that seems to stay about level, such that to the south of you the elevation difference is significant, but up north of you it's only a foot or two difference. Um, and this is where the two hags that you notice have sort of set up a sort of their home, it would seem. There's a few sort of domes of what appear to be rocks and reeds and hides of animals and creatures you'd rather not know uh, the identity of their previous owner. As you approach and sort of hand this book to one of them, uh, these long fingers reach out. There's an extra joint in each of the fingers and just sort of wrap around the book, like a claw machine just grabbing its prize, and then very carefully sort of flip through it, looking at a few of the words. And she then hands it back to you carefully, sort of placing it in your hand just that she had plucked it out of. Well, interesting. We'd much rather. We'll take an IOU. Hmm. You, miss. Um, the other one that's not speaking. Yeah, her. She's big. I like her. Um, their eyes train on you, Hellrest. We'll trade a map, provided that it is returned before your egress, in exchange for a favor to be determined later from her. You try. The individual sort of holds out their hand for you to shake. As you approach, and the hag's hand is more slender than yours. Um, and as her palm sort of touches yours, she curls her fingers around the lower half of your palm. The extra joint, they wrap the rest of the way around and are almost all the way back up, sort of touching her own hand, um, and curling around her own thumb. You feel like it's enveloped far more than any sort of handshake you've ever had previously. And this cold and clammy feeling, like a freshly cut open fish. Wonderful. So it takes her hand back. Licks the blood that was on her palm. It's tasty. It wouldn't be such a bad thing if you break the bargain. Give me a moment, and I will grab your map. Anything else that the group you want to do with the hags for while I'm grabbing this for you? There you are. Might take a moment to load. Heels to you. As she unfurls this sort of piece of vellum or some type of fabric and presents it to you as she unrolls it. Or the group you'd like to do. So based on your experience thus far, all of you can make me a history check. pretty darn good across the board. Okay. So, you know that to the north of here, there's the space in which you encountered the hags previously, and that there should be a space there through which you've not traveled as of yet. So where on the map that you have, there's that sort of arched stairway in the very corner. You've not been to that space. Directly to the west of where you presently are, there appears to be a series of chambers. You've not been in that space yet. Further to the west, seemingly underneath the corridor that led, or sorry, above the corridor that led to the darkened corridor, there's that large octagonal room. You have not been there. Additionally, you've not been to any of the rooms on the far side of that, to the west of there. There is the large lake to the south of you. You've not been to the western shore of that lake. That also connects to the octagonal room. And you've only partially explored the caverns to the southwest of the octagonal room, near where the cauldron's spawning skeletons were located. Other than that, you feel fairly confident you've explored a good degree of space. The other spot that you've not explored previously, there is the spiral spoked area in the southern region of the map near the entrance, and you've not explored that space. It's in Discord. Yeah. Actually, I can make a handout also. Yeah. Here is the handout. I just added it in game also. Yeah. So to your orientation, you are near the top left. The further top left you've not been to, all the way in the corner there. You've not been to the octagonal room on the bottom edge, near the bottom edge. So there's two octagonal rooms, and you've not been to the spiral space, and the rooms connected to the octagonal rooms, and you've not been to that sort of spiral pattern on the vague center far right. Yeah. Okay. Hello, so you noted. Hello, so you moving your token also? Okay. The space that you enter here, 10, The room through which you've been traveling is quite large and has a very high ceiling. This is where that room sort of ends. Centered in it is what appears to be this large obelisk. Um, about 10 feet beyond the obelisk, the room sort of goes down. The height of the room declines sharply until it's only about 10 feet in height and still maintains the same width. Seems like it's been sort of carved out, and this large stone obelisk was part of the structure as this massive space was carved around it and it was left behind. Um, None that you see. It is this imposing piece of perfectly smooth stone, and it towers. It's about 40 feet in height, coming to a gradual point. And no, there's zero markings on it whatsoever. Done. And if you're trying to reach the top left corner, as opposed following the map that you have, that is not the correct path. Okay. It doesn't take you long to realize that this looks to be a tunnel of some sort. There's clear signs of significant traffic through this space. Um, However, there is cobbles around your feet. While parts of the tunnels through it and caverns through which you've been traveling so far are sort of tiled but sort of chipped in places, leaving like small debris here and there. Nothing quite as large as like these cobbles and boulders and stuff. And as you push deeper, you see the progenitor of these loose stones is up ahead. There is a what you suspect is a massive cave-in that sort of seals off this tunnel. Um, Looks like this once might have been a throughway or an entrance or exit of some sort that was used for bringing things in or out, although it has collapsed since sometime in its inception. You do not, no, nothing that you see. Certainly, it is very magical. It is necromantic. You believe it does, yes. Okay, noted. The door is locked. Does not appear to be. You successfully unlock it after about 30 seconds of work. As you push into space, you notice, even with the passives, there is what appears to be a barracks of some sort. Let me double check my notes on this one. Sorry, yeah, it appears to be a barracks or quarters of some sort. There's a table in the center with looks to be like three-legged wooden stools sitting around it. A series of beds off to one side. As you get close, you see set into the floor, there's a series of sort of triangular divots, which, with your perception, you notice the very tips of a portcullis that's been retracted into the ceiling. It looks like this place was made to be defensible, such that the portcullis could be dropped and then not shifted in or out because it would lock into the divots in the ground. It is currently open, though. All right, make an investigation check. You can make one for yourself. 10. You believe it is trapped. Aeolus, you believe it is not trapped. And something about the portcullis that maybe it's gonna like swing down and stab people that walk by, or trap you inside, or something. Okay. Stay low as you creep underneath it, keeping an eye on it. A few little bird hops into the room. Um, the space that in which you find yourself, off to the west, is what you notice is a series of arrow slits, further leading you to the conclusion this space was made to be defensible. There's a small tapestry upon the edge of the wall here, directly to where the north of you stand, 10, and along with an individual desk, and what looks to be a series of dust-coated inkwells and a maybe rotted quill. Off to the east of where Dunnan stands is a series of beds, which you saw parts of. To the northwest of that room, there is crates and barrels. Looks to be maybe foodstuffs of some sort. And on the northern wall of that room is what looks to be the remnants of maybe a small space in which to have a small fire, enough to sort of cook something without filling the space with smoke itself. There's the large table there. It's about 4 or 5 feet by 4 to 5 feet, with a series of three-legged stools seated around it, and some utensils, a few looks to be shoddily made metal plates sitting upon it, and a few steins. Everything's coated in dust. You would need to move over to them. Taking a glance out and sort of shifting slightly, you see that they overlook part of the cavern through which you were traveling previously. Two of them have direct line of sight towards the door that was locked that the group of you went through. The one on the far west sort of looks out a little bit more catty corner towards what would be the ingress towards that main door. Where are you going? Uh, you try the door done, and it does appear to be locked. You're working on this for a moment. Illis, while you're working, 10, you hear the sound of uh like wood sort of being dragged across stone, like when someone bumps a table or a chair with their hip or their knee when they're walking around. There's a sort of sliding grating sound. You notice that all of a sudden your passive's high enough. No, you heard it once. Make a perception check with disadvantage. You carefully sort of step around. Take a glance through the room on the far side. Appears to be dark. You're not really getting anything in there. You see what you think is a table on the far side, but you don't see anyone in there. You see no sources of light sort of coming through. Dunnan is carrying the torch of light here, but nothing seems untowards. Right. You go back to working on the lock. Um, not the quietest activity, but not loud either. A few seconds later, now that all of you are listening, you hear the same as there's this sort of like sliding and clattering sound. Sounds like something fell. Somewhere behind you. Take a glance through the arrow slits. Sure. Make a perception check. You don't see anything on the other side of the arrow slits. I mean, there's the darkness of the space, the light from your torch is sort of spilling out into it. Very slightly, this thin line that you sort of just move the torch back and forth and sort of do this sort of scan. There's no movement, no creatures out there. While you're working on this scan, you hear something clatter to the ground again. As you realize it sounds like a plate that's what this round object sort of struck the ground and just sort of did the rolling around in a circle until it finally clattered to a stop. And where are you going? So you stride back around the corner. Dunn's looking through the holes, sort of looking back towards you as you walk past him. You see the offending cutlery and dishes on the ground in the center of the room between three stools, and one of which has been sort of knocked over and slid to the side. But not the table. The table's next to you. The table is not a table, and you're rolling initiative. All right. Does anyone have anything that prevents them from being surprised? Okay. You took alert also 10? All right. Awesome. 10, you're not in initiative. All good. Mine just thinks my hand is food. Yeah. You probably need another 30 seconds worth of work. Yeah. Yeah. Lockpicking is not a 6-second activity. All right. Top of the round. Aeolus, you are not surprised, so you can act normally. What are you working on? Just working on the lock? Okay. That is 1 of 5 that you need done. Hellarest, you are surprised. Your condition ends, but you do nothing. Dunnan, sorry, go ahead. Yeah. Dunnan, you were surprised. Same thing. 10, you are not surprised. You heard the sound, ascertained likely some type of danger. What are you doing? Certainly. Um, as you swoop towards said danger, you're going to be opportunity attacked by the table behind you. Does a 19 hit you? You are stuck to the table behind you. Yep. You can, yeah, absolutely. You are now adhered to this thing as one of the legs sort of just reaches out and sort of this sticky piece of wood sort of wraps around you for a moment. You feel some of your feathers start to get pulled. What would you like to do? Yeah. Throw the description for Guardian of Faith up, please. Guardian of Faith. Guardian occupies space. Any creature hostile to you that moves to space. For summer. Creature hostile that moves to space within 10 feet of the Guardian for the first time on a turn. I would say the feeling of that is begins its turn within or moves into the space for the first time. So on the start of its turn, because it would be within 10 feet of it, it would have to make the save. So yeah, it will affect it. It's just because everything is triggered on the creature's turn, it'd be at the start of the Mimic's turn in that case. But yes, you could use it and it would affect it. Ooh, lovely. All right. Let's see if I have something that works for Guardian of Faith. What does your Guardian of Faith look like? Cool. We're using the other token that I got. Is it a large thing? A large. Cool. Clink. Right there, this massive owl figure fills the space. I believe it just stays in that position, correct? All right, we'll kick that to the map layer then. All right. That is non-concentration either. It just happens. Awesome. Okay. Anything else, Chad? Oh, my mistake. You also took 9 points of damage from that opportunity attack. Yep. You do, yes. Okay, yep, cantrip. Sounds good. So you have Magic Stone going. And that'll then bring us to the Mimic near you. So it has to make a Dex save, correct? Against Guardian of Faith. Alright, it does succeed barely with a 16, so it takes 10 points of radiant damage. And your Guardian has dealt 10 of its 50 so far. Or 10 of its 60, pardon me. Alright. The Mimic that has you adhered, it sort of pulled you back in as you tried to fly away. It's going to continue to sort of reel you in towards this open maw of this table that sort of has this mouth that's opened like a zipper into a void of which you do not know where. And it's going to try to bite you. Oh no. 11 to hit. No good. Darn. All right. That'll bring us to the one next to Hellerest. Aha. It is going to reach out with its tongue, and it sort of lashes out of its mouth, and sort of try to wrap itself around you. Does a 16 hit you, Hellerest? Okay. That is its turn as we come around to Aeolus. Top of the round. No one is surprised anymore. Aeolus, are you continuing to lockpick? Okay. All right. Damn kids, making too much noise behind me. Okay, you got 2 of 5. Brings us to Hellerest. You got this thing partying with you over here. Okay. I believe you need to use a spell slot for that, correct? Because you conjured Corin already twice today. So you So you used a first level slot when you fought the mummies. So you would need another first level slot or higher. You can use a higher level. But you can conjure her. Correct. It's not a spell. You consume the energy of the spell slot to conjure her additional times. Okay. She is up. Okay. So she's going. Yep. Ooh, nice. Yep. Lovely. It's 15-foot radius on Spirit Guardians, if I recall correctly, right? Boom. Okay. I'll mark down concentration for you as this sort of conjured into the space here. Staying put where you are. You are not currently grappled by this thing. Okay. It will take that opportunity attack. 21 to hit you. 9 points of bludgeoning. I need a Constitution save, please. You are fine. You maintain concentration handily on Spirit Guardians. But you do take the 9, and you are adhered and grappled. As it reels you back in. We come around to Dunnan. Okay. Go ahead and make your attack. 14 does hit. There we go. Second one, 17 also hits. So we got 7, 8, 10, 12, and 14. Doesn't look like it would have any real effect. I mean, it's already on the ground. Yeah. Yeah, it's this weird sort of shape changer thing. You're not sure what on the ground would mean for this. Similar to like how slimes work. Alright, anything else done? Okay. Brings us to 10 with the mimics on deck. Go for it. Okay. 13 does hit. So that is 8 points of acid damage. So you've, as it tried to bite into you and like sort of reel you into its open maw into the vacuous void that is this thing's stomach, wherever that exists on its form, you sort of used your talon feet to sort of push off its teeth to keep from getting dragged in, reach down and claw at the sort of appendage that's holding you. The energy handily slashes through the creature. It seems to have no effect on it. Anything else, 10? Okay. Excellent use of a bonus action. It has to make a dex save against your Guardian of Faith. Wow, rolled an 18. But it does still take half damage, which is 10 points. Guardian of Faith has dealt 20 so far. And it is going to reel in the hyperventilating owl and try to bite you. Critical hit. That is... Yeah, sure. Yeah, definitely. Go for it. Okay. Go ahead with your attack. 12 does hit. Their AC is 12. So 8, 11, 13 points of damage. Solid. So 10. This thing sort of reels you in and gets a good solid chomp on you. You're going to take 10 points of piercing and 9 points of acid for 19 total. And a con save, please, for concentration on detect magic. Uh, to the right of where your stats are. Top left of your sheet. Yep, you got it. 19 total. And then the DC would be for concentration is half the damage you took or 10, whichever is greater. So the DC was 10 for your con save. You passed it with a 14, so you maintain concentration on detect magic. Um, as this thing is starting to devour you, Dunnan, you get an incredibly solid hit, and this sort of burst of energy causes this thing to just sort of keel over. 10 goes free, released from its grasp as this thing drops sideways, clattering against the ground and is unmoving. Hmm. All right. And that then brings us to the other one, which has to make I believe, a wisdom save against Spirit Guardians. Natural 1. Go ahead and roll me 3d8 radiant damage. 12 points of radiant damage. It seems unperturbed by this as it has a piece of prey, you, and it is going to try to eat you. Wow, advantage. It has advantage, and it gets a 9 to hit you. No good. Okay. Brings us to Aeolus. Working on the lock? Noted. Three, 3 out of 5. Heller has to round to you. 17 hits. Um, yeah. Swinging this thing two-handed, you make this incredibly solid sort of smack with a solid with this sort of echoing thud upon the creature. Solid hit. 15 points. Okay. You don't have multi attack, so anything with a bonus. Okay. Yeah, Corin. 15 also hits. So that is another 8 points. Come on. -8. There we go. It's not looking great, but it's still trying to eat you. And that brings us then to Dunnan. Okay. All right. Anything else done? All right. That then brings us to 10. Okay. Gotcha. All right. So we get to there, and then that'll bring us around to Halorast's Bane. Make me a 3d8 roll, please, Halorast. It does pass Spirit Guardians this time with a 20 total, but it does still take half damage. So 6 points. And it is going to once again try to eat you. 17 to hit you. That's better. God damn it. Like, yeah, it's gonna be great. Nope. No good. Okay. That will then bring us to I need you to roll me another 3d8, please. 15. Nice. It does pass the save, but sort of shouldering in, the barrel that was in the corner shifts and moves towards all of the cacophony. Dunnan going after you. 16 to hit you. No good. Aeolus around you. It does take Spirit Guardians damage because it entered the space. That's 4 out of 5. You'll finish it next round. That's right. Go around to Helarast. Correct. A Hurley is a two-handed weapon. You must use it with two hands. Alright, so that's your bonus action to stow and redraw a different weapon. Okay. Go ahead and make an attack with the Solid Steel. 25 hits. Very solid. 15 points of damage. Get almost all the way through its tongue. You feel like you're nearly there. You see this sort of black ichor-like blood sort of spilling all over the ground here also. Alright. That'll bring us to Dunnan. Sure. Yeah. 20 absolutely hits, and you see how much work Helaras has done towards slaying this thing that has grappled her, and you swoop in at the last moment and just sort of bonk through it. The table of itself, the table-like form, sort of cracking and splintering, and there's this sort of wet, squelching, splintering sound as you sort of crack through the wooden shell-like exterior of its form, and sort of push into it, and it is no more. Helaras, you are free. You are. Yeah. 20. Yeah, 26 hits. Jeez. 9, 13, 15. That'll bring us to 10. Okay, deck save. That is a 10 on the save. I believe it takes some radiant damage. 13 points. Solid. It is looking pretty rough at this point. Anything else, 10? Okay. That'll then bring us around to the creature. It'll make a wisdom save against Spirit Guardians. It will fail. Go ahead and give me 3d8 radiant damage. 15. Pretty good. It's gonna go after Dunnan. Dunnan smacked it hard. Nope. 19 to hit Dunnan. No! 19 hits. You have a torch out. Correct? Okay. Make sure you specify then. yeah. Yeah. Alright. It's 10 points of bludgeoning damage and you're grappled, but that's it. Which is actually reduced to 7 because you're Heavy Armor Master. But around Aeolus. There's a solid click. As it clicks, you are worried about this lock sort of biting your nose. It does not. You can open the door. You see disheveled feathers, half acid burned form. Okay. And then that'll bring us to Hellerest. Alright, close in on the thing and make your attack roll. That's a good swipe. How do you want to do this? 8 points left. Alright. I love it. So this one was sort of this barrel-like thing. As you make this heavy swing over top and cleanly bisect it, you see this sort of half-open mouth, and you get this strange profile of this sort of gap, like a shadow in a cartoon, where like you can see the mouth of the shadow open to the side as this thing falls and splits into two cleanly cloven halves, unmoving and dead. As you sort of bisect this thing, and there's that split second before like the blood really all rushes out of its form. I think 10. You have the highest passive of the group. You notice a glint of something very bright and refractive within this thing's stomach. Sure, make me an investigation check, Hellerest. You just your hands are just moving around in the squelching stomach acid and blood. You take 2 points of acid damage, Hellerest. And a con save for your Spirit Guardians, just because. Don't roll a 1. Again. Yeah, fine. You're not able to find whatever this thing that 10 sort of pointed at. Sure, you can make both checks at disadvantage. Roll me a survival and an investigation. You're splitting your focus. No problem. The tongue is unsalvageable. Hellerast cut that as well. It is pretty nasty, pretty damaged. But you do find, after sort of rooting around in this thing's form that is rapidly decomposing thanks to its acidic nature, now no longer being contained within specific sacs. And its stomach, it is dissolving the rest of this thing's form. You are able to find a fairly reasonably sized diamond. Make me another survival check. 10. Make me a... let's say history check to ascertain about how much this diamond might be worth. Okay. Illis, you get about 2 feet of mimic tongue. You can add that to your inventory. It is barbed, and it sticks to everything. It's like a cat's tongue. 10. This is an 10. As you sort of examine this diamond, it singes your hands a little bit, as the last few flecks of acid sort of drip off of it, and you sort of shake it a little bit. It is mostly flawless. This is a stunning diamond. You gather that this would be roughly appropriate for a raise dead spell. Definitely revivify. It is 500 gold piece diamond, or 5,000 silver. Mm-hmm. $11 points. I think your default healing on Healing Word for herself is greater than 11 points. Okay, let's do a mid-session break here. About 6 or so minutes. Back 150. Alrighty. getting back into everything. No worries. You sort of take stock of the space around you. You finished harvesting Aeolus. You got a piece of tongue. Easy to tell you may. 8 hours. Noted. At this point, you're getting towards the end of a day. Um, you could probably keep going for another couple hours, but if you so chose, you could probably start a slightly longer than normal but long rest. Okay. Um, Dunnan, roll me a. Hold on. Roll me a d20. Okay. As you all settle in for your short rest, a little bit of time passes. You eat a few of your rations. Dunnan, do you relight a torch? Hold on, I've not said you've completed a short rest. So you're not rolling hit dice yet. Um. Okay. So are you using torches during the short rest or no? No, that's half an hour. Okay, so you have a source of light. Okay, so no torches being wasted during this time then. Um, okay. About 35 minutes into your rest, roughly. I've been sitting around, sort of running back the ideas on uh, how to sort of navigate this place, your thoughts on the hags and things like that. Um, all of you have decent passive perceptions. Um, you all, 10, I think you would hear it first, but then there'd be other individuals that would sort of chime in once you sort of look up and around. You hear the sound of metal, armor, people walking, coming from the northern area of you. As you, the rest of you sort of perk up to this sound, sort of coming upon you from the north. There is a shift C Goliath individual. What's all this then? Who are you all folks? We didn't send you in here. We trying to nick our treasures? Oi, fellas! And see another one and another one appear from the north. And then trailing out from the final position, another individual, also a Goliath, a little bit shorter in stature and garbed slightly differently. They're wearing. Let me double check this. I believe it's studded leather. No, sorry, chain shirt. Instead of sort of breastplate and half plate that the others are wearing. I believe they're wearing half plate. Oh, they're wearing splint. My apologies. Sort of falls in behind the group of them, and they form into this sort of spearhead formation. And one of the leads still sort of looks at you. Did we send north of you? North. Go ahead and make a deception check, Eolus. Okay. Then okay. Make me a stealth check. Okay. You feel confident that you tucked yourself in. Hopefully they didn't see you initially. But if they round the corner into the room, you suspect they will likely see you. You can stand up and I'll say move 10 feet. The one in the front sort of lowers his, draws his weapon. He's got a spear, and he sort of holds it as he sort of sets his shield up and holds the shield in front, the spear in the crook of the arm and the shield, and sort of aims it at you. It's not right. I definitely didn't send any of you in there. What you been doing through this space? You want? Did not be hesitating. You can get around to, I'll say here, and you can gesture. You've been taking our things. We're the ones who own this space, not you. Any other stuff? Look. Look, you just... You're filthy liars, is what you are. Drop all your possessions. Get off of those, that armor. Clearly, you all stole it. You're thieves. You loot in the place that, that is ours to take control of. Maybe we'll let you live. Make an intimidation check. Okay. Sure. Oh my. As you have this sort of layered timbre to your voice, sounds like multiple voices just speaking out, imbuing your attempt with this sort of unsettling nature. And sort of look at you, and there's sort of a scoff that sort of runs across the face of the one in the front. As Aeolus, you're shedding enough light to be able to see. All right then. If you don't want to give us the things in exchange for your lives, we'll take them off your corpses. Roll for initiative. Ooh, not good rolls. Okay. You all undid the hit dice that you rolled, correct? You did not complete a short rest. You were interrupted. You get them when you complete a short rest, not when you start one. Top of initiative. Oh my. You guys did not roll well. Okay. The individual in the chain shirt in the back. Where's that stat block? Is going. Why is it so small? Let's see. What spell? Yeah, that spell. Okay. You see them intone a few arcane words. And as they do, a series of spinning, looks like blades and knives, daggers that have sort of had their hilts replaced with another dagger, sort of spin in the space around them. That is a radius. I'll use orange for it. And you guys should be able to see an aura dropped on the one on the back, correct? Okay. I want to make sure I've made it visible. So that is spinning in that space, and they are going to move forward to here. And that is their turn. The more armored individuals. I'm going to move the door thing out of the way, so that way no one clicks on it by accident, if that's all right with everybody. The armored individuals will stride forward, rushing with their spears at you, Dunnan. And Aeolus. 2 at Dunnan, 1 at Aeolus. Cool. They all have their shields, so that it's not two-handed. So Dunnan, you first. 20 to hit you. 12 points of piercing damage. Okay. Yeah, I'll say part of the intimidation check would have been drawing the shield. That feels flavorfully appropriate. So 12 points reduced to 9 because of having Armor Master. 22 to hit for 11 points reduced to 8. And then, so the 2 spear strikes, when it pulls forward and then twists and pulls it back at an angle, opening that gash a little bit more. And then they try to bash you with the shield. That's a 17 to hit, which I believe misses. Okay. All right. The second one is going to do the same sort of combo. 18, 17, but the shield bash is a 21 to hit. All right. 8 points reduced to 5 bludgeoning, and I need you to make a strength save, please. Nice. These are tall individuals. As you are defending yourself from this second series of shield spear strikes, the shield goes up over your head, and they just try to sort of backhand with the whole shield down onto you to force you down to your knees, but you stand firm. The final one that approached is going to make its series of attacks on you, Aeolus. 10, 21, and 16. Okay. The spear, it catches you for 14 points of piercing damage. And then the 16 is the shield, and it's battering you to the side for 9 points of bludgeoning and a strength save, please. Okay, that's the one due east. Aeolus, you are knocked to the ground. You are prone. Yeah, 25 does hit this individual, Dunnan. As they batter onto Aeolus, you manage to find an opening to get the basher in. 6, 12, 14 points. Is that a second level smite? Okay. So we got 28 points of damage total. This flash of light, and their attention is now solely focused on you. 10. Around to you, top of the team's order. Okay. 20 foot. Okay. You said a 10-foot radius? Okay. Right there? Are you able to see that? Okay. All right. Let me see if I can figure out a way to put this down correctly. Ellipse. You need to use the select tool to sort of select it and then delete. There we go. And then so this is 20 foot, you said? All right, that looks about right. Right there. How's that? Okay, perfect. Okay, yeah. So I'll put it there, and I'll kick it to the map layer. There we go. So the back 3 of them are in. One of them is not. That would be 2 leveled spells in the same turn. You cannot Healing Word this round. You can use a bonus action cantrip if you wanted to get Magic Stone going. I don't think they would persist since the last time you used it, correct? I don't know what the duration on them is. Okay, yeah. So did you want to get Magic Stone going again just in case? Okay. That'll bring us around to Aeolus. Aeolus, make a Wisdom save. Ooh. The daggers sort of tearing through this space. You're familiar with this spell. How the rest has used this spell. This is Spirit Guardians. You take 19 points of necrotic damage. That was a huge roll. 577. Go for it. Nice. 25. Big hit. Big hit. 12, 16 points. Solid. This individual is looking rough after what Dunnan did to him as well. And then 20 will also hit for an additional 10 in there. He's not looking great. He's pretty haggard. You found the opening of his movements and how his shield, he's been manipulating his shield for defensive purposes. All right. All right. You're gonna stay toe to toe with this person that's 2 feet taller than you. Okay, round to you, Dunnan. Dunnan, make me a wisdom save. Thank you. You are fine. You take half damage. I'm rolling it right now. Roll 20 wants to go slow. Yep. Dunnan, you take 11, which is reduced to half because you passed the save to 5. 5 points of radiant. Pardon me, necrotic damage. As these sort of spinning blades are just sort of tearing through you, passing imperceptibly through whatever armor you wear. Yeah, go for it. 27 hits. Anything extra in there? Oh. Are you putting any smite in there? Okay. He is still standing. That's 11 points. He looks to be in bad shape, but he is still, and seems to not be sure which one of you to focus on at this point. You both dealt some damage. So you attacked him, so you could use Shieldmaster on any of them. Shove a creature within 5 feet of you, not the creature that you had previously attacked. Okay. Yeah, go for it. That's a crit. That is 6, 13, 13, 7, 20, 22 points. That is sufficient. As he seems to sort of have his eyes glancing in between Aeolus and you, Aeolus and you. You take that opportunity, you time it for that, and a cold cock to the side of his jaw. You hear the neck snap as he drops like a sack of bricks. The one to the east was the one that got you with the shield, but they had both attacked you. Yeah, go for it. So that is, shove. Yeah, so it's athletics versus their athletics because it's a shove attack. Oh, he barely beats you. He got a 22 to your 21. These guys are. There's some real strength behind these individuals. You notice immediately. Anything else done in staying put? All right. Just sort of grelly. You killed Jeff. And then around to Halaras. Around to Halaras. Make me a wisdom save. Yeah, you entered Spirit Guardians. So that is a 15. I don't believe you have advantage, correct? Okay, so that's a 19. Noted. You do succeed on the save, so you take half damage. So instead of 19 points, you take 9 points of radiant, of necrotic damage. Pardon me. Okay. Make your attack roll. Certainly. Make your attack roll. Go for it. There is a clattering of steel on steel as he's quick. Dunnan tried to shove him, and Dunnan did not make any progress. He has enough time to get the shield up and just sort of block it. The solid steel, as you sort of swing sideways, it just deflects upwards, and your arm gets hyperextended for a moment, and before you can pull it back. No good. Okay. That'll then bring us to their priest. Silence is a pain in the ass. Um. Yeah. Okay. Um. What's their movement? No, that wouldn't work with that. Um. Yeah, they're gonna take the dodge action. Um. And then just sort of keep their hand on the back of their companion there in front of them. Um. Uh. They're gonna take the dodge. They are where they need to be. Brings us to the guards. Um. Dunnan, you are the target initially. One of them is going to attack you with its spear and shield bash combo. Um, 18 to hit you with the first spear attack. Okay. Uh, Crit on the shield bash. Um, yeah, it's 11 reduced to 8 points of bludgeoning. And I need a strength save or you get knocked prone. Oh no. This overhead bash isn't with the flat part of the shield, it's with the edge, and it all focused on this single point slams into your shoulder, and you feel yourself go down to your knee for a brief moment. And then the final spear strike comes towards you. It is a 20 exactly to hit, thanks to the advantage of you being prone. um, that is 10 points reduced to 7. You're gonna die here. The second one, feeling that the first has it well handled, is going to go after Hellerast. Spear, shield, spear. Oh my. Oof. Hellerast, 26 to hit you. That is 16 points of piercing from the first spear attack. Another crit on the shield. So there's 13 points. And I need a strength save from you. You get +4 thanks to Dunnan. Still being conscious. Strength save, yeah. 21 handily. You are not going prone. And then the final shield attack is a 21 to hit you for another 11 points. Now, did you take Heavy Armor Master? Okay, so that's it was 16, 13, and 11. So that's changed to 13, 10, and 8. 31 total, if that's easier. Yeah. But you are not knocked prone. As we come around to 10. Your front line is being summarily dismantled there, 10. What are you doing? Okay. Okay. What level? Ooh, big healing word. Yeah, go for it. Nope, you are not within silence. She intentionally made sure that you are not inside of the space. The orange circle spirit guardians. So Dunnan, you pick up 18 points, and then 10. Don't forget, you get healing also whenever you cast a healing spell. Um, it is your 6th level feature, class feature. Yep, 5 points because you spent a third. So and Dunnan picks up a solid 18. Fantastic. Okay. That's your bonus 10. You still have an action if you'd like to do anything with it. Spirit Guardians. Oh, Yes, they are healing spells are abjuration now. As opposed to evocation. But yes, they're abjuration. Um which one is that? Is that the preserve life? Put preserve life into the chat. As part of casting an abjuration spell, you can spend uses of create a spell slot for use in the casting. Okay. I would rule that you could use a second spell casting using the channel divinity as instead. So if you wanted to cast a first level action spell, action abjuration spell, you could use preserve life in place of spending a spell slot. And because you're not spending spell slots, you can do it in the same round that you did a healing word. Cure wounds, for example. Yeah. Which is touch. Aeolus. Okay. Yeah, and you do not enter the Spirit Guardian's aura to do so. Yep, that knocked off one of your channel divinities, and you also heal. So you heal another 5 for yourself, which I think puts you to max. Ah, correct. Gotcha. Level 1. Okay, so you heal up 3, close to max, yeah. And Aeolus, you pick up 10, and that then brings us to Aeolus. Thank you. That's a failure. Oh, no, it's a success because of Dunnan's aura. Damn. Just gotta kill the dwarf first. You take 6 points of necrotic damage, Aeolus. Okay. It's 10 feet of your movement. Okay. You speak this out into the ether. Go ahead and throw that in chat. Right. Speed reduced to 0. And it's a save to escape from it. What? It's a strength save. Cool. 16. Fails. It is reduced to speed of 0. You can feel it take effect as the priest sort of looks past everything at you, narrows their eyes. Anything else? And you took 3 necrotic damage, correct, for that amplification. All right. That'll then bring us to Dunnan, who needs to make a wisdom save. Dunnan, you save. Instead of taking the 23 points of necrotic damage, rolled a 7, an 8, and an 8, you take 11. That would have been brutal. That's an insane amount of damage. What'll it be done? Yeah. Sure. They can't hear you anything you're saying. Yeah, they're inside silence. So you're tough talking a wall. But that is a wisdom save. What is your spell save DC? 15? Okay. They get a dirty 20 on that save. I'm sorry. No bonus? Oh, yeah. You could risk it. It's your call. Okay. All right. Hold your ground. Hellarest. Yeah, I follow. Round to you, Hellarest. Please. Thanks to Dunnan, that is a success. You take, after reduction, it is 8 points of necrotic damage. 17 down to 8. Nice. Sure. Deck save for the priest guy. Natural 1. Go ahead and roll me. Is bonfire 2d6 or 2d8? 2d8. Yeah. When it enters the bonfire or ends its turn there. Okay. So it takes 8 points of fire damage. Has to make a concentration save. Natural 1 on Spirit Guardians. Spirit Guardians falls. For now. You cannot shove as a bonus. You cannot shove as a bonus action. No. If you have a spell, that's a bonus action. You can also quaff a potion if you have a potion that you can quaff. Yeah. What potions do you have? All right, whichever one you want. 2d4 plus 2. The greater is 4d4 plus 4. All right, go for it. There's the macro for it. In the bottom. It should give a pop up. In the center. You said a greater healing potion? Here you go. 11 points. Yeah, oh, that's decent. Okay. Anything else, Heller? No, that's action and bonus action. You are concentrating on Great Bonfire, I believe. Yes. All right. Priest's turn, who is currently on fire. I believe it can make the save against Curse of Binding at the end of its turns, correct? Oh my god. It's so frustrating. And it's trapped. It can't even put up another Spirit Guardians because of the silence. Oh man. Yeah, it's gonna take the dodge action. So it has advantage on the dex save, and that'll be it. Alright, so dex save against a bonfire. Passes with a 16. so it does not take damage from bonfire. Strength save 7. It's still trapped. That's its turn. That's the whole turn. I got so much crowd control. The other two of them are going after the two of you respectively. Helleras, we'll start with you. Spear, shield, spear. First spear is a 19 to hit you. Okay. That is 12 points of piercing damage, reduced to 9, thanks to Heavy Armor Master. Shield Bash comes over the edge and sort of tries to bash your head into the wall so you sort of dazed would fall to the ground. That's a 22 to hit you. Not 9 points of bludgeoning, reduced to 6. And a strength save, please. To which you get a +4 bonus. Yeah, you're fine. And the final spear is a natural 1. No good. Goes for trying to impale your foot, but you shift inadvertently out of the way and it just wasn't ready for you. The attack's on Dunnan. This is where we really want to see what happens. Dunnan, the shield bash is a 10 to hit you. Nice. The birch spear is a natural 20. That is going to be 21 points reduced to 18. Third one is a 25 to hit you. 2 failed death saves. You see them trying to say something, some degree of tough talk, which literally falls on deaf ears because there's no sound coming from them as we come around to 10. So it looks like gloating. Helleras, I need 2 concentration saves, please, because you took damage twice for a creep bonfire. So both con saves. You do have the +4 bonus from Dunnan for this cycle, though, because they attacked you first. You're fine. You're fine. DC was 10. I don't think you could fail it, even with the natural 1, so you're good. All right, 10, what'll it be? Ooh, nice. Okay. Yeah. Assume selecting all 4 of you. 13 points to everybody. Fantastic. And that's a 3rd level spell. So I believe that tops you back up automatically. Well, I mean, the spell or your ability tops it back up. Yeah, Dunnan's back up. Okay, that is a dex save. 15. What's your spell save DC? Ooh, 16. No good. That is 14 points of radiant damage. It is starting to get hurt. Alright. Anything else, 10? Staying put or moving? Sure. Alright, that brings us to Aeolus. Make me an intimidation check, 10. Sure. Aeolus, what will it be? Okay. I don't even know. Levitate's an action, correct? Okay. So you're running and jumping and levitating. Okay. Well, either way, this is going to start with an improvised melee attack. Um, so actually, a little bit ranged also. I'm gonna say use your dex. Um, so make me a an attack roll using your dex, using an improvised thing with which you are not proficient. Roll me a d20, please. All right. So you miss his face as you sort of fling out your arm, holding this sort of 2-foot tongue that you're hoping will adhere to his face, so that way you could pull yourself, because he weighs more, towards and through the two of them. We're not sure. Um, it sticks to the wall next to him. Um, you found purchase on something. Are you trying to pull yourself into the space in the middle of them? Okay. Make me an athletics check. Okay. I You stick this to the wall. He dodged, he ducked out of the way. You stick to the wall, you're like, it still works. You give it a solid yank and sort of thrust as you sort of jump, sort of midair, sort of doing this sort of spinning dodge maneuver, like action movie style, in between their sweeping arms, in between the two of them, into the area of silence, and then you fall prone. Um, Here, in the middle of all three of them. You have spent 25 feet of your movement. You cannot. You know, sort of launched yourself in there. Very solid distraction. You are not sure how this is going to pan out. Yeah. You can drop concentration on the bubble. All right, that brings us around and done. Yep. Noted. Up to 22. And you're concentrating on that. All right, go for it. Yeah, that one does look to be worse. 27 hits. That's 16 points. Anything extra? Oh, no. Now? Yes. Yes, you're bad. You've now demonstrated that you've taken the attack action. So now you can interrupt with that shield bash. No. What if that your level? Yeah, go for it. It's an athletics check on their part. Ooh, it rolled a 17. They have a plus 10, which just fails against their 18. It is prone. Yeah. 27 hits. Small damage, though. That's 9, 10 points. It is starting to look rough, that one on the left. And it is prone on the ground. Anything else done? I think that's all, right? Okay. Elras, around to you. Aeolus has just sort of launched himself in here as this sort of like a salmon jumping upstream into a herd of bears. Um, and it is now your turn. You do have an enemy in melee, so that is a ranged attack roll, so you would be making it at disadvantage unless you step back, risking opportunity attacks. Okay. Are you going after the prone one and you'll have advantage on the attack, or the other one? Noted. Go for it. 18 just misses. These guys are in splint. And they have shields. Yeah. You still have a bonus action. If you'd like to do anything with it. If you wanted to conjure Corin or something. If you have a spell slot left. Okay. I assume back here, probably to back up Aeolus in some way. Certainly. Go ahead and get her health set as we come around to the priest. You do in a moment. The priest is going to sort of say something which nobody hears. Notice, oh, there's this idiot next to me that I can hit with my mace. And it's going to make a mace attack against you, which is a 21 to hit you because it has advantage. And then it is going to. Ooh. Silence is still up, but it wants to save that. The priest is going to eat a second level spell slot and dump an extra few d6 damage into use. So you take 6 points of bludgeoning and 13 points of necrotic damage. As this mace just flares with this grayish black energy bashing down into you. That's its turn, though. It does not have multi-attack. The bodyguards. One is going after Hellerast. If I could find the stat block. It doesn't care about the salmon fish person that jumped behind it. It trusts its priest to deal with that. Hellerast, 10 to hit. Wow, 21 to hit with the shield. 10 points reduced to 7. You would need to make a con save, but you have auto pass because Dunnan is conscious. I do need a strength save to avoid being knocked prone. You're fine. And then because you're not prone, it misses with the final spear attack. It rolls with a 15, which I believe misses you. The other one is attacking Dunnan. It's going to spend 5 feet, half its movement, to get up. And then spear attacks on Dunnan. 15 to hit you, Dunnan. 14 to hit you, and a natural 1. Triple miss. As we come around to 10 with Aeolus on deck. Yeah. Yeah, go for it. Okay. 19 points. And you pick up 4 for yourself. Oh, you're at full. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I neglected to roll saves for the priest. Let me do them real quick. So Dex save for Bonfire, it fails. Roll me 2d8. Strength save for Blood Curse, it fails. It is still trapped. $10 points of fire damage. All right. Anything else? 10. Okay. continue keeping up foreign relations. We go around to Aeolus. Aeolus, you're prone. You've been smashed in the head by a mace. Okay, you are no longer prone. Okay. 3 more necrotic damage. Yep, go for it. And it's an additional Hemocraft additional dice. Okay. Curse and the mark. Okay, so you got that added in there. So that's 16 points of damage to the priest. Sort of grits its teeth, tries to say something. Nothing happens because you're in silence. 16 does hit the priest. It's another 13 points on top of that. It is looking pretty bad. It is still. They are still standing though. Anything else, Aeolus? Very gladiator like, are you not entertained? Alright, around to Dunnan. The one in front of you is severely bloodied and beaten, Dunnan. The one north of Hellerast is still pretty good. Okay, go for it. 19 just hits, and that is sufficient damage. A swift bash into its stomach with the basher, and it keels over as the energy sort of pierces through its form, explodes out the back, and it's dead. Yeah, go for it. That's athletics. 22. 30. Nice roll. Yeah, it is handily sort of smacked against the wall. It seems surprised that there's that much strength that came out of you as it falls to its knees for as he falls to his knees for a moment. Tries to say something. Silence ruins. Yeah. Yep. 23 will hit 16, 18 points of damage. Pretty solid. Anything else done? That's it. All right, brings us around to Hellerast. Correct. Yeah, you have advantage. 26 hits for 11 points. Anything with the bonus? Go for it. Yeah, Spirit Strike there. Has advantage thanks to Dunnan's positioning. 22 will hit. 10 points. The priest is barely holding on. It wasn't expecting this sort of ethereal spider to sort of tear into it with that much force as it sort of as he reels for a moment, tries to take stock of these enemies were more than I think any of them thought they were bargaining for. Anything else, Hellerast? He is. He's not been able to get out of it, and they've not been able to break your concentration. Okay, that brings us to the priest, who will try to capitalize as best they can at the moment. They can't cast any of their spells, and they cannot move to then cast any of their spells. So they are going to hit Aeolus. Yeah, they have a better chance to hit you. Rolls a 5 to hit you. No good. No longer has advantage against you. That's their turn. They have nothing to do with their bonus action without spells. That brings us to the last bodyguard. Hold on. Yeah, please. It rolls an 18 on the save. It is not caught by the bonfire this time. Strength save at 2. It is still trapped. That Blood Curse of the Binding is holding them there. The guard will stand up, sort of grit their teeth, spit some blood out, turn from you, Hellerast, and focus on the dwarf that just bashed him into the wall. Spear, shield, spear. First spear attack is a 13 to hit you, Dunham, which is no good. The shield bash is a 26 to hit. That is 12 points bludgeoning reduced to 9, and a con save for concentration of Shield of Faith. And a strength save to not go prone. Shield of Faith fails. It was literally the only thing you could roll for that to fail. You mean you're done. Strength save for Shield Bash. It was 12 reduced to 9. You are not getting knocked prone today, though, which means that final spear does not connect with a 10. As we come around to 10. Okay, noted. Okay. Yeah, so you have an action remaining. Alright, that's a wisdom save. Got a 12. That is not enough. Spellcaster had 3 hit points left after Corin's attack. That is sufficient. As they just clutch their head for a moment, you see the eyes and ears start to bleed as they fall to the ground. They could finally hear for a very brief moment. And that'll then bring us to Aeolus. $18 misses, actually. You need 19. 19 does hit, though. So you get 1 in there for 9 points of damage. But it turns and looks at you. Alright. Not quite as much as you both dropped. Wait, what? Come around and done it. It's a lot to remember. Do you have a notepad? 23 to hit. Yeah. 16, 17 points. Second attack. Go for it. Ooh, yeah. Sure. 26. 30. It's prone again. He's just getting slammed against the wall over and over again. He rolled good on his athletics, too. Oh, barely hit thanks to the prone. 17 and 19 points of damage. He's holding on. Anything else done? Sure. No more times with solid steel. You have advantage. He's prone. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead and roll another one. 21 hits. Poor damage, though. 8 points. Alright. He is... No, he's still conscious. He's so... Corin. Yeah, he's having a bad day. That hits, and that is sufficient. How do you want to do this? He had 1 hit point left after the solace. I was like, oh, he's gonna survive. All right. And Spider sort of launches forward, and you see this tearing flesh. You wonder if the hags do something like this to their prey. For a brief moment, and I'll have the rest of you sort of reflect on whatever deal Hellerast made for this map, as the Goliath in front of you summarily expires, and we'll pick up there next session. Yeah, the Guardian of Faith. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You had another 40 points, I believe, that thing can deal. Yeah, yeah, because it had dealt 10 and 10 in the previous fight. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's still there. It's just chilling. Yeah. all of you, or sorry, Dunnan and Aeolus both, Dunnan and Aeolus both fell prey to the bait of, hey, let's go stand up and talk to them rather than make them come to us. Oh wow. Yeah, yeah, that words went well. I mean, there wasn't a lot of words after the first round of combat. I got silence, blood curse of the binding, and bonfire. I was like, oh, I can just put up Spirit Guardians again. Wait, no, it can't. Silence. Shit. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, we got one unconscious, but that was it. Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah. Yeah. Very well done. Very well. Not helpful because no one moved. Pull them. Yeah. It was one step back, if I recall correct. Like, because it's 10 feet from it, right? Yeah. Oh, my. Death? Alrighty. Yep. Take care, everybody. Have a good week. Bye bye.